Welcome to The Soft Skills, the channel where we explore how to understand people starting with yourself. Each week, we share calm, reflective content about connection, how we build it, how we lose it, and how we hold on to ourselves through it all. This week, we're talking about something almost everyone has experienced in some form, that sinking feeling when someone doesn't text back, the silence, the slow fade, the sudden stop, and the overthinking spiral that follows. Let's be honest, we live a lot of our emotional lives through screens now. A text message isn't just a message. It can feel like a lifeline, a signal, a micro expression of care. So when someone doesn't respond, or takes hours or days or weeks, it doesn't just feel inconvenient. It feels personal. We wonder, did I say something wrong? Are they losing interest? Are they punishing me? Should I double text? Should I delete the message? Should I pretend I don't care? That silence becomes a story we start telling ourselves. And often, that story is rooted not in facts, but in past wounds. Here's what's important to understand. Not texting back doesn't always mean the same thing. Sometimes it means someone is overwhelmed. Sometimes it means they're not interested. Sometimes it means they don't have the emotional maturity to say what they're feeling. And sometimes it truly doesn't mean anything at all. Let's unpack it. Reason 1, emotional unavailability. For some people, intimacy feels threatening, even in the form of a simple reply. They might enjoy connection in the moment, but pull away when it starts to feel consistent or emotionally layered. They may not have the tools to say I'm not ready, so instead they disappear. This doesn't make their silence okay, but it does make it make sense. You didn't do something wrong. You didn't ask for too much. You were simply asking for presence, and they didn't have that to give. Reason 2, passive withdrawal. Some people don't know how to express discomfort directly. Rather than say, this isn't working for me, they go quiet, hoping the connection will dissolve on its own. This is often about conflict avoidance, not cruelty, but it can feel devastating for the person left in the dark. Because without words, there's no closure, only confusion. And your brain, wired for certainty, will start filling in the blanks, often with the worst case scenario. Reason 3, power imbalance. Unfortunately, some people do use silence to create leverage. They wait hours to reply so they don't seem too eager. They ignore a message to regain control after feeling vulnerable. They know you're checking your phone, and that silence becomes a form of influence. This kind of behavior can happen in all types of dynamics: straight, gay, queer, casual, serious. It's not about gender, it's about emotional power. If someone is using silence to manage your behavior, it's a red flag. That's not a relationship, that's a game. Reason 4, life is a lot, and sometimes silence isn't about you at all. People are grieving, people are burnout, people are managing mental health, family pressure, long work days, emotional overload. And in that state, even replying to a hey can feel like a task too big. It doesn't mean they don't care. It means their capacity is low. But here's the key. If this becomes a pattern and they never communicate what's going on, that silence still hurts. Even if it's not malicious, you're still allowed to feel affected. So what do you do when someone doesn't text back? Let's walk through a few self-anchoring steps that help you respond with clarity instead of spiraling into shame. Step 1, pause before reacting. When you feel that emotional wave, the urge to double text, over-apologize, or shut down, pause, breathe. Let your nervous system catch up. You are not in danger. You are not being abandoned. You are facing uncertainty, and that's uncomfortable, not catastrophic. Step 2, check the pattern, not the moment. Has this person shown you care and consistency over time? Or are you always left wondering? If silence is new, it may be circumstantial. If silence is the norm, it may be the relationship's emotional ceiling. Step 3, name the impact gently. If you feel grounded enough, you can say something like, hey, I noticed there's been a pause in our messages. Is everything okay? I just want to check in. I'm feeling a little unsure on your end. If someone is emotionally available, they'll appreciate your honesty. If they're not, their reaction will give you more clarity than silence ever could. Step 4, release what's not yours. If you've expressed yourself and been met with more silence, the next move is acceptance. Not bitterness, not pretending you don't care, but real release. You showed up with presence. You offered connection. They didn't match it. That's not your failure. That's your filter. Now let's talk about something tender, the internal story we tell ourselves when someone doesn't respond. It often sounds like, I'm too intense. I come on too strong. I always care more. This always happens to me. But these aren't facts. They're wounds. And every unreturned message scratches at those old places in us that fear being left, ignored, or unimportant. Your work isn't just to stop texting. It's to stop telling yourself that silence means you're unworthy, because you're not. So here's the honest truth. Some people won't text back. Some people will ghost. Some people will love bomb and then vanish. And some people will simply fade. But that silence says more about where they are than who you are. And your power lies in not chasing clarity from people who have none to give. To summarize, here's your key takeaway from this episode. The silence might sting, but it doesn't define your worth. You don't need to shrink to avoid being left. You don't need to overperform to keep someone interested. You need connection that feels mutual, grounded, willing. Let this be a reminder. You deserve to be answered, to be met with care, to be chosen in ways that are obvious, not confusing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on The Soft Skills.